They got me. This episode got me. Episode 8 of Tu Bian Yingxiong X. What an absolutely phenomenal episode. I want to claim this is my favorite episode yet. And yes, there's a lot of bias there because I love Lucky Cyan, and I've been looking forward to her episode for a long time now, ever since I've seen her in the PVs. But yes, there's another part of it that I think this episode just did so well in sort of getting to the point, building up, giving us a perspective of a young child that has no clue about the world, that's being groomed into becoming a hero, and then having that big epic climax. If I can give this director one thing, if you were to force me, Andrew, one thing you want to give this director, he does so great in building up to climaxes. Every single episode has that build up to that emotional or action-packed moment. It's similar to something like A Place Further in the Universe, that show. Like every episode has to build up to something. You know it's coming, and it comes, and it's there, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so great. But this episode especially, my gosh, I had this big massive smile on my face. It was probably touching my ears, and I had just like tears building up. It was so emotional. I'm just screaming at the TV, get this girl out of here, get this girl and free her, get her away from this disgusting guy. But yes, there's a lot in this episode really kind of building around, again, I think Lucky Cyan, her story is very unique, which is really great. I think what they're going to be doing with Lou with her is probably not going to be a good ending. The entire time towards the later part of this episode, I was really feeling, for some reason, what was coming to my mind was the final song of the previous episode, where you had Lucky Cyan. She was up on that stage and she was singing a sad song. Now, I don't recall, I couldn't really tell what the actual lyrics were in that one, but it was something to sending something like a power or something to somebody's heart, if you can feel that or whatever. And I was really kind of wondering if possibly that song has something to do with Lou, the boy that saves her. I'm thinking that he's probably going to sacrifice. My current prediction with that whole thing is that I think she's going to utilize her luck that will then empower him, despite the fact that his trust value is so low. He has 10, which is more than what Yang had, and he was able to pull something off. I think that her luck value is going to improve him, or at least strengthen him, and allow him to take down the Dean. But I think he's probably be lost in the process. I think he's probably going to sacrifice himself to get Lucky Cyan out of there. And it's going to be tragic. I'm not looking for the next episode. It's probably going to be really, really tragic, but we'll have to wait for that. But anyways, let's get into the episode proper. A lot of the beginning part of it, again, is the discovery of Lucky Cyan. Now, there's a lot around a guy named Liu Zhen, who is a reporter. It seems like he sneaks to this crash site. It seems like this is something that's unheard of. We're at the point of 23 years after commission. There's a lot of heroes around. Like, the reports are, why did this happen? There's so many heroes. How in the world can a plane crash in this day and age? The assumption there is that there's so many heroes around, somebody's going to go over there and fly over and catch it. Or somebody's going to stop it from crashing. So it is interesting to see that, yes, disasters like this just don't happen anymore. Everybody's safe, and yet this happened. And it seems like he is questioning this. He does sneak in there. He gets Lucky Cyan, or at least this girl, gets her out of there, takes her to his brother. I think based on what was on the walls and all the certificates, I think they're both Liu. Just the reporter is Zen and the dean is Yuo. But anyways, he takes it to this dean and tells him, okay, take care of this girl. I got to take care of something. Now, what we find out through him going to his job and trying to report about something mischievous happening around this plane crash. Something happened. All these heroes, they failed. The editor or director or whatever of this place doesn't want it to happen. Obviously, again, we've already kind of established that there's a status quo of making sure that people have trust in their heroes. If he were to report this, trust values would drop and another disaster would happen. It is kind of a little catch there. I do agree. I think it is kind of important to kind of note that. Okay, you're reporting about heroes not stopping a plane crash. But in doing that, you're going to cause more plane crashes because people will not be able to trust heroes and thus they can't stop the plane crashes. It's kind of an interesting little conundrum to have there. But no, the interesting thing is as he goes to leave, because he quits, he ends up running into an individual, which brings up, I think this would probably be, I'm assuming because we're now going further back in time, even before Isol's little segment that we had previously, we're going even further back and it's now bringing up fear. So I'm kind of wondering if this might be the origins of this fear, because later on, what we see with Lin Ling's story, his story, everybody knows that group. They're an established group that people know about. Back here, that seems like a reporter is shocked by the words the guy says. So it seems to indicate that this is something that's new to a reporter. He should know about an organization like that if people know about it. But yeah, this guy's going around saying, investigate the crash, embrace fear. And at some point he stops him and says, hey, wait, what'd you say there? Yeah, you need to check out this thing. It wasn't a natural disaster. It was done by human hands. Specifically, it was caused by a whirlpool of conflict between the heroes. That he's specifying, this guy's specifying that heroes are in conflict right now And due to that conflict, this happened. Now, the question mark would be there, and I think that was what Zin was getting into, was that he was speculating possibly the heroes let it happen. This can possibly mean the idea of the heroes' conflict maybe possibly kept them from stopping the play from crashing, or because of their conflict, one of them caused the crash to get at somebody else. That would be sort of the conclusion that I would probably assume is going to be the case, is that somebody was on the plane that was important to one of the heroes, and they made the plane crash to get at the hero. I don't know, we'll see. But again, he also brings up the aspect of the embrace the fear. What do you mean by embrace the fear? He says, do you know about the Aether Laboratory? So I'm guessing that this laboratory, whatever, possibly is the organization that may have the individuals that are doing the fear thing, which they've implied before with Enlighter. It's this idea seemingly of giving into fear, that the fear will embrace you and thus it makes you even stronger without the need of having people's trust. You're building up strength through your own internal fears. So we'll see if that actually, builds up into something going forward. It'd be interesting if that ends up being something that we get into with Liu. Again, it seems to imply that he's all about Calamity. Maybe he might actually use his Calamity to get her out of there. And then later on, maybe he embraces the fear and then she has to stop him. We'll see. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. But no, that's when we get into Cyan. We get into specifically Lucky Cyan. I thought this little bit kind of building up her character was so freaking cute. And the idea that everybody's just coming to her. Seemingly everything that she does is really, really lucky. And they're finding out that, yes, things that she does ends up causing them massive luck. I like it. She's like, here, I'll protect you. Don't worry, Cyan. Here's a treasure map. Mark where the treasure's at. And then she ends up moving there and then having massive amount of luck. The girl taking the cake to her with all the pictures on it. Choose one. And he ends up being like some really rich boy that she didn't even know about. Just some really funny stuff around her character. I thought it was super cute with her. It's so sad because she's so like innocent. She's like, oh, there's a cake. Oh, cool. I'll eat one of the chocolates. Oh, okay, I'll eat the cake, chocolate, whatever. She just kind of goes along with it. But yeah, this was the annoying thing because, yes, it eventually builds up to the point where, yeah, the lady is like literally taking money, bribes in order to, yes, help with like sick people. And the dean comes up and he's all mad about it. I should have known. I should have known. Like, this guy ain't good. Like, they try to make him out like he's a saint. Like, no, don't exploit her. If anybody exploits your powers, let me know. I'll take care of it. And then cut forward, he literally creates a religion around her. I do kind of wonder. I kind of thought initially, okay, maybe it's one of those aspects because, cut forward, like, was it 6 years at that point? It was like 5 years or something like that? I forget. 5 years. So that time jump was 5 years. I thought there was a possibility that maybe he was utilizing it to help people, then over time he became corrupted. But it does feel like when we see his daughter, it seems like she might be being exploited as well. This, I believe they called her Queen. This girl that's trying to become like X, and she wants to like reform all of the system. With her appearing in the episode, with Liu being brought in, with Lucky Cyan, I just have a feeling at this point, this is sort of like, it's literally like the X-Men. It's like this guy is literally raising child soldiers. He's just essentially grooming heroes. I think that's what we're probably going to get into with this guy's story. He's grooming heroes. Cyan's one. He's probably wanting to make Liu one. That's why he accepted to have Liu in there. He's Calamity. He causes destruction. Don't bring him in here. Actually, no, I think he's probably the perfect person to bring in here because she'll offset him and then I can use his powers later on. And he's Calamity, so he's going to be destructive. I can use him. I think that's what it's going to end up turning into. He's just literally forming all these children into his own desires. Like I said at the very beginning, I'm going to become a hero and you can't go anywhere. You're not going to stop me. He wants to use them for his own gain. And it's like, can't anybody be nice in this world? Can't anybody not exploit children, please? The only person that's nice in this entire story is going to be Liu and Zin. I don't know. We'll see. But no, it was a cute little segment. But yeah, cutting forward 5 years and seeing how she's basically just become a pawn for him is just super heartbreaking. He's talking about how you're, achieving so much. You're bringing hope to everybody. It's a nice thing. It feels nice and fluffy. But as we see when she goes to walk away and she goes and walks around the campus, it seems like everybody avoids her. Everybody sees her as the maiden. This is the great maiden. Don't disrespect her. Bow to her. Don't interact with her. Run off. And she's alone. This girl is literally alone. Until, yes, she finds Calamity. I didn't know that they named him until I seen his document on the table and I translated it. It apparently is Liu. But yes, this little boy is sitting in this room with his radio. She goes in there, sits down with him. Some point he's like, whoa, your outfit, what the heck is this? Oh, you're that one they keep talking about. Yeah, I'm new here. They call me Calamity. Pretty cool, right? But yes, at the same time as that whole introduction there, we do get a brief radio broadcast, and it cuts over to the dean. Now, this is very interesting. Again, this is where we're introducing, I believe her name is Queen. They called her Queen or something like that in the subtitles down the bottom. But Queen, apparently this is somebody who's just graduating. She's making a big announcement to everybody. I'm going to become the next X. I'm going to be number one. I'm going to be X. But not only that, this was the interesting part. Not only that, but she's actually talking about taking down the system. She wants to overturn the trust value. It implies the idea that she wants to use, with that power of becoming X, I'm going to create order and overturn the trust value system. Disorder will only bring the world into chaos. She wants to become the crowned queen of the new world. The wording here is odd. I'm not sure if she's literally meaning this, but it seems to indicate that she wants to break the trust system. She wants to change that system. Now, that's the oddity. That would imply two things. Either her trust value, when she builds it up, she's able to change things. So the more power that she has, the more she can actually change. She wants to change reality itself. Or does the person that is sitting at X, do they get that power? Is the power that is given to those that are in number one the ability to change that trust system? Are they able to break the system itself? Is number one always able to control the trust value system? That's the question mark. Again, for those that know anything about additional information about this show, I don't need it. I like that people like to dig into like all the extra information that's coming out of the PVs and whatnot. I don't want any of it. I don't want any of it. I'm keeping completely fresh for the show. I'm enjoying it too much. But that's interesting. I'll be curious what that ends up turning into. But yes, at some point, we have Queen ends up coming home. Apparently, that's all pre-recorded. And he tells her, yeah, you should be a little bit more modest. But additionally, that he wants to, sign her up at the age of 18 to a company. And she says, nope, Dad, not going to happen. I'm going to get into the top 10 before I'm even 18. This girl's got some ambition. Definitely got some ambition. But finally in the scene, they did show briefly Matchstick and Blazing Fire, which apparently are two top-ranking couple, which apparently are stuck in some sort of scandal. I'm kind of thinking with like how much they're talking about with, again, fear, with the heroes apparently in conflict, and again, with possibility of the plane crash being caused by a conflict between them. And then that whole thing, I'm kind of making me wonder that, is this sort of implying that did they get involved somehow with that incident? That they maybe were trying to be whistleblowers and then thus somebody blew up some scandal on them just to get them kicked out of the picture? I don't know, it just seems a little bit too odd that these two individuals end up being brought up out of nowhere. Then we cut over to Cyan and Lu, and they're playing a game. Every single time she rolls a 6, he can't beat her. He's got to get frustrated by it. And this is interesting because then he asks her, why does she have all the luck? Why don't I have any luck? Why do you have all the luck? She doesn't know. She replies, I don't know. I wonder if that's an aspect where she's just lying there, or if she truly doesn't know. Like, you would think by this age she would probably have a hint that every single person comes to her and then something great happens, but it almost kind of implies that she's completely oblivious to a lot of her power. Now, it does imply later on that her luck causes her problems. She wishes that she can get away from it. Either way, he points out the fact that, oh yeah, I learned something in my previous orphanage. Let me see your wrist. And that's when he sees her number, and it was a little bit far away, but it looked like 25,000. Like it was that many digits at least, but I think it was at 25,000. This girl at that young of age is like already that high. He says, why is it that huge? She's like, it's always been that way. Well, just another thing that I'm kind of wondering if it's always been that high, or is it just that her earliest memories, it's always been that high. But yes, he shows his, it's only 10. Why is it so small? Well, maybe boys take longer to grow. I want to be a hero someday. But yes, that's when it turns very tragic, when she mentioned the fact that she doesn't want to be a hero. I never want to be a hero. Dean said that I was going to be a hero, and I don't want to. He says that I'm sort of a hero already. I bring blessings to many people, and I don't want that. I'm sick of it. I don't want to be a hero. I'm sick of not having friends. I hate the fact that I can't wear my own clothes. It cuts to her basically having to cover her head because her hair is too bright. The fact that she's this sacred symbol of the orphanage. All this stuff is placed upon her, and she's just like, I'm tired of it. I just want to be allowed to make mistakes. At which point, the best part of the episode comes up. I'm getting emotional again. That boy, Lu, is a good boy. I swear. And this is the sucky thing, because, again, I know this kid's dead. I just don't think this kid's going to last. I think this is going to be like his... Now, he could be like in the background helping her all the time as she becomes an idol, as we see later on. Maybe he's producing the music or something like that. I just don't think so. I think he's gone. But no, this good boy gets up, grabs a marble, drags her all the way downstairs, and says, "I'm going to break your curse of luck. Take this, turn, don't look though, and throw it. There's a button over there. You have so much luck, you'll be able to hit it. Just throw it." And she throws it, and it hits an alarm and creates a rainy day. It was so freaking good, dude, because it's like, again, it's that whole aspect of like, she just wants to, break the curse. The curse is luck. Everything that she does is lucky. It's always good. It's always positive. Everything that she touches, she blesses. Everything that she goes around, great things happen. Here's this one moment where she was able to create havoc. She was able to create chaos. She did something unlucky. Anybody else, you trip, you lost grip of that marble, and it flies over and hits the alarm and just soaks all the electronics. That's bad luck. He caused her to create bad luck. And again, with that kind of tied in with the song at the later part of that was just so freaking emotional. I had this big freaking smile on my face. I'm like, damn, this boy's so good. I love this boy. Good boy. Good boy. It was super cute seeing her laugh there. Again, after the entire episode, you see this girl and she's closed off. She has no emotions. Every time she goes to say hi to somebody, they're running off. She has no friends, nobody to be around. It was just so good. But yes, that later scene was great. Jump forward another 6 years, and she goes over there, has a new song ready. She's here. She's got a new song ready, too. She's ready to go. Girl just takes it off, starts dancing, gets the idol song going. Boy comes out there on roller skate, starts playing a guitar. It was so freaking good. Again, note that all the stuff with the background storyline going, it was just so freaking fantastic and running out of there. It was so good. It was so absolutely fantastic. That girl being so happy up on that stage. But yes, it all builds up to her getting close to getting out of there, and suddenly the Dean shows up and again says that he's going to be a hero and they're not going to stop him, and she can't go anywhere. Specifically says Cyan. So that kind of makes me believe that he may not have any expectations for Lou. He might, but it's really around Cyan. He can't lose her, and that makes sense. Again, everything he's built up so far right now is around Cyan, and she's got a massive amount of trust value. I'm kind of curious where she's at now. If she had 25,000 or whatever it was when she was much younger, I can only imagine what she's at currently. I would assume right now she's like maybe, 13 or 14. And back then she was like, 6 or 7. But she's been building up for a long time. And so she's probably got some insane trust value. But yeah, overall, really, really good episode. My gosh, I'm so happy to see my girl Cyan. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and I'm massive hype for her story, even though I'm extremely scared at the same time. I hope her story's not too freaking tragic. It seems like every one of these characters have some incredibly tragic story to go with them. Hopefully this one ends well. Hopefully this one's the one that has good story. I am kind of curious where her story's going to pan out, with the idea that she eventually becomes an idol, and the assumption is that as an idol, she is technically a hero. She's always going to have the stats of that. Again, everybody has trust value, and you assume that an idol would have massive amounts of trust, and that trust value would be insane. But it kind of makes me wonder if she doesn't want to be a hero, that she decides that she just wants to be an idol, and she focuses on that. And again, it could be the fact that no matter what, she's always going to be a hero. It's just that she's not going to want to be a hero. But we'll see. We'll see. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on episode 8 of Tu Bian Yingxiong X. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content and you want to support channel more, everything's in the description below. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, y'all take care.